And a very blessed good Monday morning to each and every one of you, my beloved brothers and sisters. It is Monday, January the 24th. This is the day that the Lord hath made. And of course, we are rejoicing and we are glad in the blessings of the day. Of course, you are viewing this at 7:15, but I would go ahead and let you know that this was pre-recorded about 4 hours ago. But I pray and trust that today's motivational moment, today's motivational word for the week truly is a blessing. And I pray that it really ministers to your heart and to your mind based on as the Lord has given it to me. So by all means, as you are coming in and connecting, by all means, please feel free to say good morning to us. We will definitely catch it just a little bit later. But at the same time, take a moment to tag and to share with fellow DYP Nation. Let them know it's time for our motivational message for this week. This week's Monday motivation comes from the words of the prophet Isaiah. Isaiah chapter number 54. I want to read verses 2, 3, and 4 from the English Standard Version of the Word of God. And then I want to share as the Lord has given to me to share. Isaiah 54, beginning at verse 2, the word of the Lord declares, "Enlarge the place of your tent, and let the curtains of your habitations be stretched out. Do not hold back. Lengthen your cords, and strengthen your stakes. For you will spread abroad to the right and to the left, and your offspring will possess the nations, and will people the desolate cities. Fear not, for you will not be ashamed. Be not confounded, for you will not be disgraced. For you will forget the shame of your youth, and the reproach of your widowhood you will remember no more." Now, of course, I would do this passage a great disservice if I did not deal with it in context. Of course, we know that when we look at this passage in context, Isaiah speaks prophetically to a barren woman. A woman who has felt like she has been unable to produce. Isaiah speaks to the woman that is unable to bring a child, who's unable to give birth to a seed. And I want to speak to somebody today who feels like you've been unable to produce here lately. You feel like everything you're doing, it's not going the way it should go. I've come today to tell you one word for this week's motivation. And that one word for this week's motivation is simply stretch. Have you ever noticed, and I'm using this as a prime example, have you ever noticed with a rubber band? A rubber band is only as strong as its ability to maintain its stretching power. In other words, the more elasticity that a rubber band has, the more capable it is to serve its purpose. The only way that you will know whether or not that rubber band will serve its purpose is it has to be stretched. As a matter of fact, here's a reality. If it is not stretched and sits in its normal state for too long, it will begin to lose its strength, its elasticity. And when it begins to stretch, or it is tested by stretching, it is known to pop and break, therefore losing its purpose. I want to challenge you this week to stretch. I want you to stretch in your faith. I want you to stretch in your knowledge and your gaining knowledge of the Word of God. I want you to stretch in your prayer life this week. I want you to go to places spiritually, mentally, emotionally, purposefully that you have never been to before. It's going to cause you to stretch. It's going to cause you to come out of your comfort zone. It's going to call for you to move away from that place of comfort and go to that place of your greatest purpose. After all, if you are not stretched, your gifts will lose their elasticity. They will lose their ability to the point that when it is time to use them, you will pop and therefore lose sight of your purpose. as the prophet speaks to the barren woman, as the prophet speaks to the woman who feels like she cannot bring forth a seed. I speak to that young preacher who feels like you have no purpose, you have no calling, you feel like that there is nothing you can do at this moment. I want to tell you, stretch. It's time for you to be creative in ministry. It's time for you to step out of the shadows of comfort, step out of the shadows of the familiar, and go into places and go after things that you feel like you may not be qualified for. Remember, your victory, the meeting of your purpose, the meeting of your ability is found in your stretch. This week, I challenge you, young preachers, old preachers, all preachers, this week, stretch. Have a motivational week this week.